Here's my solution for gun violence. Ban all liberals and Democrats and communists and from ever owning a firearm. Take away their guns! The Second Amendment does not apply to those who want to take away other people's right to bear arms. And I'm pretty sure that this message is very popular. I have not had anyone speak against it, as I have brought it up elsewhere online or in person. I've actually had people agree with me. Take away guns from liberals. Now, I want people to actually think about it. Gun crime is predominantly done by those who register as Democrats and are liberal in their philosophy. I'm not talking about in America only. I'm talking about the world over. Right? The whole world. All liberals promote gun violence. I actually have a theory that gun runners, the people who either steal guns or buy them legally, are selling them illegally to these crime-ridden areas, and that these people are politically liberal. So if we ban all liberals from owning guns, I think that we would see a significant drop in gun crime. I honestly believe that, right? Liberals make the same argument, but they want to take guns away from everybody, right? So I just want to take it away from liberals, and if the change is significant enough, then we know the truth. And that liberals are the ones who are responsible for all the criminal activity that's been getting people killed. At which point, then conservatism will be vastly bolstered in its authority. Because if there is a psychology that promotes violence that is finally identified, I mean, culturally, I think we would see a transformation in America. And it all hinges on guns. Right? This ability to intimidate people. I'm going to talk about not mass shootings or just gun crime, but rather intimidation tactics that are carried out by liberals predominantly. Right? Like Antifa or the Black Panthers. Right? Antifa has been identified as a domestic terror group. Right? So I think anyone who is a member of a domestic terror group should be forbidden from carrying around a gun in the open or in private. I think only the average citizen or just general militias, I don't care if it's just a bunch of individuals organizing and peacefully assembling and talking about how to protect the neighborhood, both or the city, in defense against other terror groups or or the government itself, right? I don't mind that. I really don't. But if you are labeled a terror group, and that can only be done if people in your group are attacking regular citizens and committing vandalism for a political reason, or even for a religious reason, then you should be prohibited. And if not that, then you should be required to show your ID if you're walking around in the city limits with a gun. I think that's totally reasonable. But it's not the same as a gun registry, right? It's only being identified that you were walking around with a gun in the city limit, right? You either have a concealed carry, if it is concealed, and if it's exposed and it's in the open, you're intimidating other people, right? The entire purpose of a weapon, its very presence, its presence is intimidation, right? Potential threat. Not articulated threat, and technically it is already articulated. People don't know what your politics is if you're walking around with a gun, right? Some people are stereotypical and say that it's conservatives. We know that not to be true, right? And the difference between Antifa and most conservatives when it comes to carrying around guns out in the open in the city limit is that Antifa has articulated that they have a target beyond mere criminals. That's the problem. I think this should also apply to other weapons as well. Though you wouldn't be able to make a registry of other weapons. Knives, you can just go to Home Depot or Lowe's or some department store and buy a piece of steel and make a sword out of it, right? It's really not hard. You can make swords, spears, halberds, right? You can purchase axes online and you can buy all these weapons. And they don't have registry numbers. And you can make these weapons. You can make them. They're easy to make. They do require a grinder and a few other tools, right? But you can't register all of that. The logistics of that is just too much. It would actually harm the economy, and I don't think crime rates are that significant to justify such a registry. However, here's another idea. When it comes to crime-ridden areas, aside from cutting off the supply of guns from these gun runners who are probably liberal, I would also want militias to be able to enter into those neighborhoods. I totally support it. And it's not about race. It's really not. Because if people insist that it's about race, then they're actually saying that white dudes are not allowed to defend their black friends. I have black friends. I would defend them with my life. But I want the ability to actually protect them. Because if I get shot, I can't protect them. I can't protect anyone if I don't have a weapon. And I would actually have there be an exception to the rules that I've made, aside from banning liberals from owning guns, that you can enter into a crime-ridden area and open carry without a permit. Although it'd probably be better if you did. That way you could walk up to people show them your permit, and then politely request, not require, just politely request that other people show their permit, but only if they're carrying a gun. And you don't have to, but it does allow for cohesion of lawfully abiding citizens. Anyways, these are my ideas. I think they would be very effective and popular because, you know, there are a lot of liberals who would do anything to take away people's guns. And I just want to help them by taking away their ability to own guns themselves. You have to be internally consistent. If you're advocating something, you better apply it to yourself first. Otherwise, I'm not listening. I'm not listening. I'm not listening. What else could I say? What other good ideas do I have? The reason why I'm actually making this video is because I came up with this idea. I shared it a little bit with other people, and over 100 people, and no one has told me that that's a stupid idea. So none of these ideas seem to be unpopular, right? So I actually think that this can get done. I think this is a practical alteration of the Second Amendment that we can make federally and see a significant change in the culture of our country. And if we do this and crime just disappears, the rest of the world would have no argument against guns, and it would be squarely on your political orientation. I think it's genius. Do it. Just do it. Hey, Shia LaBeouf is not the first to have been to say that or act like that. I actually really like that he did it. Makes perfect sense. That attitude, I wish more people were like that. It's a very strong way of thinking. I think that would make people healthier psychologically. They just need the right ideas to go along with them. Thank you for watching, and stay safe and spread the message. And hopefully we can get a petition for our politicians to actually advocate for such a thing, because it would change the dialogue. Threatening to take away liberal guns, Democrat guns, totally makes sense. It would end the discussion on the Second Amendment. Either way.